Hey guys, this is Stacy from EatTheBite.com, and today I'm making spicy Parmesan Gochujang Noodles with pork and bok choy. First, we're going to dice a little garlic, some onion, we'll chop the ends from our bok choy, along with some scallions. We'll shred a little Parmesan cheese and sear some cubed pork tenderloin. And for the sauce, we'll mix together the onion, garlic, and gochujang. We'll add a little cream, the Parmesan cheese, mix it all together. Then we'll add that awesome sauce over the cooked pasta. We'll give it a mix to coat and assemble our plate. So, let me show you how to make it. We'll start with the garlic. I usually slice it into thin rounds first and then dice it down into smaller bits from there. I'm going to put that in a little ramekin when it's done. After that, I've got half of a medium to large onion that I'll first cut into thin strips. Then we also want to dice that down fine, just like you see here. You'll need to run your knife over the onions a bunch of times to get it this small. I've got 3 larger baby bok choys, which came to 1.4 pounds total. I'm going to cut the knobs off the ends like you see here. Then I'm going to transfer these to a colander because they need to be washed thoroughly. As you can see, there's some dirt on the stalk part, and we want to get rid of all of that. Next up, I'll chop 1 bunch of scallions, and we're using the whole scallion, dark, light green, and white parts here. So I'll chop those up, and I'm going to set them aside with our garlic and onions. After that, I'm shredding a little fresh Parmesan cheese that we'll use when we make our sauce. I'm going to take this nice pork tenderloin, cut it in half. Then I'll cut it into long strips. Then I'll cut the strips in half lengthwise again. And then after that, we want to cut the pork into bite-sized pieces. Once all the pork is cut, we're going to season the pork with some salt and some pepper. Now we've got our pork ready to go, our onions, garlic, the scallions, the baby bok choy, our fresh Parmesan cheese, and of course we have the gochujang, which is a Korean red chili paste. And I usually buy the mild version of this paste, which still offers a very nice kick to it. And then of course we've got a box of pasta. You can pretty much use any kind of noodle here. I've got my water heating up in a big pot to cook the pasta off to the side, and I'm oiling my pan so I can cook the pork. I've got the heat on high so I can get a nice sear on that pork. I just want to spread it out evenly here so no pieces are overlapping. Then we're going to let it cook for 4 minutes without touching it. It should look about like this right before you give it a stir to turn those pieces. And have your kitchen tongs ready to assist with the turning. We're going to cook that a couple more minutes and then remove it from the pan and set aside. I'm going to go ahead and use that same pan to melt some butter and olive oil so we can cook those onions. The diced onions are small, so it'll only take a couple of minutes to soften, and you should start cooking your pasta at the beginning of making the sauce. I'm going to add that garlic in with the onion. Turn the heat down a little here so you don't burn that garlic, and then I'll mix this around for a couple more minutes. Now we're ready to go ahead and add that gochujang Korean chili paste into the pan. We're just going to mix this around until it becomes incorporated with the garlic and the onions. You'll know it's done when it looks about like this. And now it's time to add the heavy cream. I've got a plastic whisk to mix this together because I am using a Teflon pan and I don't want to scratch the bottom. Your heat should be on medium at this point, and we're going to whisk this together until the sauce turns orange and comes to a slight boil and starts to thicken. Now we'll go ahead and add that fresh Parmesan cheese. We'll give it a stir here. You can turn the heat off here as well and just let the cheese melt naturally into the sauce. And the sauce is a little thick, but it's okay because once the pasta is finished cooking, I am going to take a small ladle of that pasta water, which is salted, and use it to thin out and season our sauce a bit. I've got my big bowl that I always use when I need to mix my pasta and sauce together. I've got my kitchen tongs ready to go to transfer the pasta into my bowl. And we're not straining that water because we are going to use it to cook our bok choy. I'm going to add the bok choy right into the remaining boiling pasta water. I'll just use my tongs or some tool to push it down in the water. It's only going to take a minute or two to soften the leaves of the bok choy and leave the ends crunchy. And now we're ready to assemble. First, we're going to add all of that awesome sauce right over the top of the pasta. And make sure you scrape that pan and get all that goodness. After that, just get your tongs and a wooden spatula or whatever tool you have on hand to mix and coat the pasta. I'm going to add a little bit of hot tap water here and a half a cup of jarred grated Parmesan cheese. This is optional. Now I'm going to grab that pasta, give it one final toss, and we are ready to plate this up. We will start with some spicy noodles. Then we'll top that with some of the baby bok choy. We'll give it a spoonful of pork. and then top it with some fresh chopped scallions. And here is an absolutely delicious plate of food. I hope you give this one a try and enjoy it as much as I did. It's perfect for feeding a small group and it's just delicious. Once again, thank you so much for watching and we'll see you next time.